With the Raw ratings at an all-time low, WWE needs to do something memorable during the go-home show this week. The TLC Tables, Ladders and Chairs pay-per-view could either prove to be the turning point heading into 2019, where Raw turns a corner and goes back to pulling decent ratings, or it could reaffirm the fans' opinions that the creative team on Raw no longer have the ability to put on a compelling television show. One would think that the backlash and negative fan reaction would force Vince McMahon and the WWE writers to put more thought into the product, but the WWE management can just as easily turn a blind eye to the fans' demands. Saying that, there have been a good couple of angles that have played out on Raw over the past few weeks. With the TLC pay-per-view just a few days away, here are 5 things WWE should do on this week's edition of Raw. Over the past few weeks, WWE has inserted Baron Corbin in the opening, middle and closing segments of Raw, and the show suffered because of the lackluster storylines and uninteresting angles, while Corbin himself is not to blame really. For the ratings reaching an all-time low, the WWE officials need to understand that Baron Corbin is not over with the WWE universe, and the fans would rather switch off their TV sets than sit through the monotonous and predictable matches. With one of the marquee matches at TLC involving Corbin and Strowman, WWE would once again want to feature Corbin heavily on the show. However, the writers should protect the superstar and not overexpose him to public scrutiny. Featuring him heavily on the show only hurts his stock in the company, and the creative team should really avoid putting him in various segments on the show and letting him stick to promoting his match with Strowman at TLC. At Survivor Series, Charlotte Flair made good on her promise to Becky Lynch and viciously attacked Ronda Rousey. The rivalry between Ronda, Becky and Charlotte will reportedly culminate in Rousey facing Charlotte at the Royal Rumble and Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. However, Ronda will first have to defend her Raw Women's Championship against Nia Jax before she gets her hands on Charlotte Flair. Saying that, Charlotte and Becky will be in action at the Tables, Ladders and Chairs pay-per-view, which would mean for one night, Ronda, Becky and Charlotte will all be in the same building. This storyline is currently one of the most intriguing programs in the company, and the fans would want Ronda to acknowledge the fact that she'll share the same dressing room with the 2 women that beat her up last month. On Raw, Ronda should mention Charlotte and Becky at least in passing, which would build more interest and intrigue heading into TLC. The Woken superstar is back in the United States after his brief visit to India, and with Corbin's job hanging by a thread, Matt Hardy recently expressed his interest in replacing Corbin as the new general manager of Raw. Woken Matt Hardy has been one of the most refreshing characters in recent memory, and the ways he reinvented himself has earned praise from critics and fans alike. Matt's interactions with fellow superstars has always been fun, and the broken superstar can get involved in numerous memorable segments if he does become the new general manager. Matt should show up on Raw this week to remind Corbin about what's in store for him at TLC. Corbin put Strowman on the shelf a few weeks ago, crushing his elbow between the steel steps, and throwing Matt into the equation could open various possibilities. WWE is in desperate need for a new face at the helm to freshen things up, and Matt Hardy could prove to be the difference, helping Raw bring in good numbers. The Intercontinental Champion is arguably the most over superstar on Raw today, and is currently embroiled in a heated rivalry with Dean Ambrose. Rollins will defend his Intercontinental title against Ambrose at TLC, and over the past few weeks, it's been Dean that's gotten the better of Rollins. Both the superstars have been involved in numerous memorable segments, while Seth is also reportedly in line to receive a shot at the Universal Championship at next year's WrestleMania. WWE knows about Seth's value to the brand and the organization, and would want to build the superstar as their next heir to the throne. While Rollins has been having solid matches on Raw, his rivalry with Ambrose could have been booked better, and with just one edition of Raw to go before the TLC pay-per-view, WWE should focus more on Seth Rollins on this week's show and build the episode around Rollins and Ambrose. It was recently reported that Alexa Bliss has finally been cleared to compete in the ring, and Little Miss Bliss could be back in action before the end of 2018. The former Raw Women's Champion was named as the head of the women's division by Corbin, and Bliss has since tried everything in her power to stack the odds against the faces of the show. However, no matter how much she tries to manipulate the women, the WWE fans obviously love the superstar, and the writers can build more intrigue heading into TLC by teasing a face turn. Nia Jax is the monstrous heel on the show, and given the history between Jax and Bliss, Alexa could stack the odds against Jax, or come to the aid of the faces. WWE would have to insert Bliss into a feud, and while they can keep her as a heel and make her feud against either Sasha Banks or Bayley, the creative team could surprise the fans by teasing Bliss's face turn on this week's episode. So that was 5 things that should happen or could happen on Raw. What do you guys think? Would you have 5 other different things? Put them down in the comments.